So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to a scene for the living world of darkness rage across New York. We will be setting this scene Umberside. We'll be setting it in the Sheep's Meadow, and this will provide essentially the narrative fluff to a large plot-motivated Chiminage. And yeah, so at the Sheep's Meadow, in the Umbra, 10 Point will have been playing that there violin for a prolonged period of time after speaking to the right master, ensuring that he is aware of her intentions so that there will be no bad blood over that there summoning. She will go through the process and summon a spirit. And while I will do the role, we do not have an ST to play the spirit, so we are just going to get to the bit with the Chiminage for the sake of having it said and having it played out in scene. And so, once all is done, once a spirit of the sun is present, whatever its size, whatever pacifying may need to be done, she will be collecting the cubs around her. She has informed all of them of the nature of the Chiminage, has informed them of what kind of spirit they will be facing. And whether or not they come there that way, she will advise all that once they join her about the summoning circle, they will need to be, well, for all intents and purposes, bare-ass naked. 10 Point is, in fact, herself bare-ass naked. Because we are, after all, bearing ourselves to Helios' glorious light. So I'll give y'all a moment to each join up and put whatever thoughts and feels and words you need to into it. 10 Point will not be able to reply. She will be violining as you're approaching.
Shit, Jen, I'll jump at once. Alright. So, Helena, of course, following the summons, being the good little cub that she is, because, well, she actually remembered to do something for once. What a surprise. She makes her way over, wrapped up in one of the blankets, barefooted. She comes up and just sits down by the summoning circle. Just watches 10 Point for a minute. Lulls it over in her head, what she's actually got to do. Repeating it, make sure she doesn't forget. Just sits there, just thinks for that minute. Begins to wait for the rest of the other theatres to appear.
I'm gonna slap you both.
Garm will be arriving in his draconian glory, one would say, even if he feels very weirded out by all this Chiminage thing. He's not sure he gets everything and all the logic behind it, but he just chooses to go on with it because, well, otherwise, Clever is never going to stop pestering him about it. As yep, he is accompanied by a cuckoo bird who just keeps screaming, "Get! And yes, he is very concerned.
Fatima shows up. She is still clothed. There's a look resting on her face that it's not the same level of apprehension that she usually has when dealing with theater duties. However, on her face is a level of a level of fear and concern as she sort of kind of holds herself and sort of waits patiently for the thing to happen. It's cold. It's New York. She's not too keen on being titty to the wind today, but if that's what her Raya wants, then she'll have to I guess bear it.
So once 10 Point has finished, she will glance around, be relatively pleased, and I will say for narrative's sake that since one of our players isn't free at the moment, we can or cannot assume that Cammy is also present. We will figure that out in the aftermath. But in the meantime, she will make a point of glancing to each, making sure they're there, making sure they're like mentally there, as it were, kind of check marking as she has gone to each of the Theurges. And she will just lead by example. Titty to the wind indeed. So
I don't know where I make this shit up. It just kind
it
of
was beautiful. Apologize for nothing. So she will, once all is said and done, set aside the violin and step forward to the spirit, long since bared of her clothes because she did not want to take the time after the fact. And she is still wreathed in a number of scars, from the claw marks across her belly to the bruises on her back, from those inflicted lash marks, carving, what have you. It is all laid open, as it were. And so she will address the spirit respectfully in stating their intent to fight back the shadows that surround the sept, pleading with it to abolish the darkness that cloaks their enemies, that threatens Gaia's warriors, that clouds their vision so that they cannot see the threat coming, and will be first, albeit even she will show some signs of reservation as, she steps forward, lifts her arms, and says first in the normal tongue, and then will again translate into spirit speech as necessary, the truth that she wishes to offer, to bring to the light for the sake of offering the best she can. And so what she confesses is thus: Honored spirit, as our sept was beset with the threat of a skin dancer, I many times took action at the direction of my alpha. I many times, without question, had spirits aid me in following and watching, in trying to seek out the threat among us. But there was one time that I failed to do so. When my Raya asked me to set a spirit upon the kinfolk known as Elizabeth, I balked. I spoke to her instead of simply doing as I was told, and I was swayed from my Raya's actions, and I was swayed from obedience. And as a result of my disobedience, we went longer without knowing what we may have learned much earlier. I hold myself responsible for the death of Talatahine. Had we known the threat, perhaps we would not have taken the risk that we did. Hear my truth, hear my confession, and let it be openly known. And then she will step back, glancing to whomever happens to be at her left.
Sure, why not? As 10-point finishes, Helena kind of nervously, still a bit of shake in her, still covered by the blanket itself, but she kind of takes in that deep breath, flicks that long hair out of her eyes. She steps forward. And it's almost like washing it off. That fuck off. That sheepishness that she has just kind of drops instantly. She just drops the blanket, revealing the butt, of course. She takes in a deep breath and keeps her eyes pretty firmly shut, though. All right, okay, let's do this. When I was challenged by Desmond, sparring, he decided to fight to kill. Fight like my last fight. I never fought before, and I didn't plan on doing it, to be honest, but I did it. After a while, he beat me down quite a bit. Something snapped, and I lost it. Since then, I've been denying that part of me exists, but in truth, I enjoyed it. Having the power, finally having the strength to actually do something. I enjoyed it. And she just takes a quick step back.
Garm is going to look at everyone as he kind of scratched the back of his head and sigh. Are you sure about this? As he gives a look at the bird that's perched on his shoulder. Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it! Do it! You are gonna finish. You don't back down. You do it. 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 And he take a deep breath as he goes, "Dear honored spirit, I'm a simple man. I don't have some dark secret. I've lived an honorable life as much as I could. So, apparently clever say I have to be straightforward. So I will not back down. I think the adult of Bicept are a bunch of lunatics. Every single one of them. All fucking lunatics. That is all I have to say." And he just he takes a step back as he's very interested in his feats. Yes, they are wonderful feats. Yes. Yes.
Fatima looks upset, taken back, and seems to be in a state of slight panic. But as she stands there, you see that she is mustering the courage to even speak. And you see as she begins unfastening her clothes and getting naked, as you see riddled across her body really ugly and deep scars that look as if they didn't heal properly. And mostly she begins to talk. She begins to choke out her confession. Um, it starts off slow as a whisper, but I'm I'm sorry, Mom, I wasn't able to come back and get you. I, as you see the tears start coming down her eyes, I'm really sorry. I tried. I really tried hard to come back and make everything right. And I'm sorry. I I see the look that you give me, and I know what it is. I understand that it's a look of shame. I know I bear the face of of a mistake, and I know I am one. Understand that I'm trying. I'm really trying hard not to be. I'm trying to earn your love and and to be the woman I felt you wanted to be. As she begins scratching holes into her skin, it's almost impulsively, but she chokes through it. I'm sorry that I I took your beauty from you. I didn't mean to, and I wish that there was more that I could give, but there's simply nothing else that I can give you, and I'm sorry, and I don't I don't think that I can come back, and I'm sorry. I really tried, and they won't let me, and I probably will hate them for a long time. But understand that I'm giving my I'm trying. I'm really trying. As she just kind of starts frantically scratching at herself, and you can see that she kind of clenches her fists, and you can see the blood pooling in her hands as she's trying to compose herself, but it's hard for her.
10 point will be running as close to a simultaneous translation into spirit speech as she can, as each is speaking quietly, mind you, so that she doesn't interrupt, so that she doesn't slow them down, so that she doesn't distract them from what they're saying. But all the same, as much as each confession is painful to hear, she will make a point of trying to look upon each one with some measure of pride and approval once they've managed to unburden themselves before the spirit. And as each has finished, she will again address it. In fact, doing so standing tall, owning her confession as much as it pains her to put it out in the open for anyone who might have gathered, anyone who might have walked by to hear. Honored Spirit, in addition to offering words, to offering to take a stark light to our greatest flaws, we offer as well to take the same stark light upon our bodies. And even though it may burn, to know how important it is to accept light as it's needed, even if it stings, even if it burns. Because sometimes things must be brought to light so that they can heal. And so that they can be made right. And I will assume that, like as not, they will all be subjected to extreme heat, regardless of how cold it may be outside. And, well, the amount of burn that we suffer will be designated at a later date. We're free to assume that as a result, we all get fantastically sunburned. And once she has made this offering, once the spirit has given whatever reply it sees fit, and finally been freed from its summoning from the circle, she will finally visibly deflate, glancing to each to ensure that they are holding up, offering out a hand if it's needed. Admittedly, at this point I imagine no one especially wants to be touched to the shoulder or wants to be hugged, but she can at the very least offer her hands to those on either side, to those who especially are looking drained in the wake of, well, sporting that kind of bald honesty.
I dare you to slap the clubs. Do it.
Cuckoo gets a side eye. And especially in the case of Fatima, if she is still clawing, if she is still picking at her own arms, even with the burns, she will in fact reach out, and unless Fatima sees fit to pull away or the like, will just actually, make an effort to reach out and catch her hand, just to kind of hopefully startle her out of the habit.
And she will, with tears in her eyes, she will look you directly in the eye. She doesn't pull away from you. She says, "I'm not weak. Don't look at me." And then she kind of starts bouncing on her heels. It's a lot of nervous energy. And a person like her who has no idea what to do with it, it's just coming out in like really awkward ways.
Yep. And to put well for what it's worth, seem to recognize, like, it's not sympathetic, it's not pitying, it's just that empathetic, no, I get you, brief glance, and then she does, in fact, just look away, though she keeps hold of the hand just to keep her from picking at it. And she will make sure that she addresses the lot of them. None of you are weak. Not for confessing what is true. Knowing the things that are hardest to know about ourselves gives us the chance to recognize it and to grow. Don't be ashamed of what you have said. Don't let anyone else make you ashamed of what you have said. She will actually make a point of looking particularly to, Garm will definitely get a glance because she doesn't want him to think there will be some sort of repercussions from her, at least. Though she will linger a look at Helena.
You get a quick side-eye back before she hurriedly pulls the blanket over her, now almost red as her hair, shoulders. Just instantly covers herself up, pretty much. And sits there cross-legged on the ground, just staring at him. Nice feet. Feet are nice, right?
And yeah, she will totally let go of Fatima. I really want to say it the other way for some stupid reason. She'll let go of Fatima so that she can get her clothes. In fact, even gesturing to them just so that she has something to do with her hands. And yeah, we'll step back. Still keeping an ear, still keeping an eye, but we'll at least be reaching for where she has likewise stowed a blanket not too far away, probably actually pulling it out of her swag. Because with the spirit gone, it's cold again.
She will very hurriedly get dressed. It almost seems that she's trying desperately not to make eye contact with anybody.
So I guess I cannot get healing cream for that shit.
She'll kind of sport a faint smile. The point is to bear the burden so that the rest can do their duties. I know this is a stark way to teach all of you, at least from the start, what it means to be a Theurge. But we cannot take Chiminage for others. We cannot burden others with Chiminages that they have not agreed to. So we have given greatly. It will heal with time, but for now the burns must linger.
It's going to be a pain in the ass. I can't really even move. I guess I'm going to submerge myself in cold water.
So long as you do not heal it off. Do what you need to manage the pain. But understand that by taking this on yourself, you're strengthening the rest of the sept. Whatever comes of our Chiminage, whatever the spirits see fit to grant, we've earned it. And we've done so that the entire sept can be safer. And so that the city can be safer.
Fatima will, as she's wincing and bearing and gritting at her pain, I have a question for you.
Of course.
More to Helena. Sorry, Raya.
She, kind of staring down at the floor. At the mention of her name, she kept almost jumps up like out of a trance. Almost, she just kind of turns and looks over and smiles. Yeah.
I need to ask you a question. I know I was there when you were approached by the child of Gaia, Colin, and I'm happy for you. But did anyone else approach you about joining a pack? If you don't mind disclosing, what did they say and what happened?
Oh shit. So she just kind of looks at you. You see, her eyes kind of dot upwards, dot to the left. Like she's obviously thinking, trying to remember something. I don't think so. Maybe? No.
She looks at you again. Are you sure? I won't push you, but are you positive?
No, Fatima, I wouldn't hide anything from you. Of course, no. Yeah, no, nobody said anything to me, I don't think.
10 Point will fold down finally alongside Helena. Just enough motion to kind of get her attention, and as soon as she's gotten so much as a glance as she's moving, she will comment, "Do you remember the night that Desmond came, when I could not hear?
When was that? She just kind of looks at you like more concerned, if anything. Should I? Is what happened? What?
She nods faintly. It is nothing terrible that happened. But Desmond did ask you about what pack you meant to join, about what tribe you meant to join. He became very aggressive. Enough that I shifted to make sure that he would not take foolish action. I could not hear, but he did write me notes, and I can still read body language without my ears.
He did?
She nods very softly. It's essentially posed as a gentle reminder. And
Just
hoping
kinda-
to stir her memory.
You know what? Wasn't a total botch, so I will roll that again. So we'll see. Hey! Like, she just kind of thinks for a minute. You see it, again, her eyes kind of darting around a little bit. Maybe, I think. Don't mind me asking, why exactly?
I have already confronted Cammy about her opinions and how she is going about talking to people, and especially Cubs. However, since Desmond is indeed planning to be an alpha of a pack, then he needs to understand when he is misstepped, and he needs to understand that there's a way about doing things.
Yeah.
I will not ask you to say anything, but I will confront him.
No. She kind of says pretty sharply. He confronted me. Yeah, no, he did.
Did he hit you?
No. But it is my battle to fight. I thank you for your concern, honestly. But he wronged me, not you.
It isn't about wronging. It isn't about the wrong. It needs to be understood that
Does
we as Cubs have an obligation to learn to understand and have an unbiased opinion. And too many Guru have done wrong by us by trying to bolster their numbers. It is time that somebody brought it to their attention that they need to stop.
It does. But
I
it's
won't mention you.
Dishonorable for you to challenge somebody on my behalf for a problem that doesn't involve yourself.
It won't be a challenge. It will just be a mere assertion that we have, even though we are the lowest on the pole, we are still deserving of respect. You were not given respect.
I wasn't. But if he does it again, I will challenge him.
Understood. I will not bring you up then.
I understand, Fatima. I do. But as Cubs, yes, at the bottom of the barrel. But our fights are our own. We need to make our way on this world. Prove ourselves, you know?
Improving yourself, it doesn't do anyone good if we come in bruised, battered, and broken and nothing left.
For what it's worth, as this is going back and forth, 10 Point is kind of putting an eye on Garm to see how he's reacting to this conversation, if at all.
I mean, he's looking, staying silent, and when there's the comment about being broken,
Hmm.
he looks, he shrugs. The point of being broken is getting back up and beating the shit out of those who broke you.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it takes time. At some point they'll grow old and they'll make a mistake. That's when you kick them out.
Yeah. What he said, just not as sinister.
There's wisdom in what you say, but there's also wisdom in I am not doing it to look good. It's more of a sense of duty and pride.
Yeah. No, I get it. I do. But whatever my beef is with Desmond is mine.
I give you my word. I won't repeat it.
And I will solve it myself. As per the Den Father's advice.
Then I will bring my personal grievances to Desmond.
Yeah, I'll offer you my thoughts.
She just smiles.
Timpoid just basically asks if they mind her putting her 2 cents in.
She takes it.
She just nods.
In the end, there is virtue to both your perspectives on this. Well, Helena, it is certainly up to you to draw the line for yourself. You're not the only one that Desmond approached poorly. Not so long before he came to you, Myraya and I had to stop him from outright attacking the Alpha of the Cub Pack. It was not the first time he made the mistake, and that is why he was treated to the attentions of a Ragabash. There are still consequences for his actions as a whole, though what is between the two of you is between the two of you. Fatima, I admire what you mean to do. My only suggestion is that first you speak to Jason, because while you are still new and all of you are still young, you are still a pack, and Jason is still your alpha for now. Even if I don't imagine that he will protest you asserting what you believe is right, but it is important to make sure that he knows so that if there is repercussion, he is prepared.
She nods.
And she'll actually glance over to Garm. How many of your brothers and sisters have you had the chance to meet, Garm?
Not much. Not much outside of, well, as he thinks, the Lupus one pounds. Outside of her, I've seen the others, and well, I'm seeing 2 right now, which I think is an improvement. But no, I haven't seen Jason more than just, I guess, exchanging a cup of tea through the den.
And take a moment if you need to. Have you learned how to introduce yourself properly? I think that was covered when you first came, yes?
Yes.
I don't suggest any of you do any excessive flopping over, but Make yourselves known to each other. Talk. I'll be close by if you need me. And Fatima, I did mean what I said before about contacting your mother. I will help you do this.
She just nods and she just says, my heart hurts for her, but the way I am now, I don't want to cause her any more pain. So once I'm able to be an adult, I want I want her to see me in my adultness, not acting out.
There will be a very serene little nod to that. I don't know what hardships your family is going through, but is there any way that we can aid your mother? A way that maybe you are aiding her that you can't now?
Realizing that if she starts to sugarcoat anything from this point on, what she said is pretty much pointless. So, um, I do not know the face of the one who sired me, if that makes sense. And I am a source of shame and embarrassment because where I am from, if I'm essentially considered a bastard, a mistake, something that should not have happened. And my mother, she cares for me, but there's deep resentment. And I am trying to prove my worth.
Of course. And yeah, there is such a blatant, sympathetic understanding. So
Which
much.
part of the word have you been raised on?
Excuse me?
Sorry, let me rephrase it. How? But are we in fucking medieval time?
I understand your concern, but I have taken on this burden myself, and I cannot speak the mind of my mother, but the only thing I can do is try to do the best that I can. I appreciate your concern, but such is my burden in Latin life. What most assume I grew up with, I didn't. And at most times, I was made to be far more responsible than I am now. So being vulnerable like this, it's hard. Harder than most. Not to take away from your own trials and tribulations. Which is why it means so much to me that if I'm supposed to exist in this world, that people that wronged me need to know that they fucked up. Does that make sense?
He looks at her and And I mean, he's not really hiding it, but the look on his face is, you have issues. It's blatant, but he doesn't know exactly how to put it in words.
I know. The look that you're giving her, she just simply says, "I know." But I will take what was said. I will speak with Jason since he is my alpha.
This may not have approval.
Hmm. He's going to he's gonna nod, bite his lips. I will see you later.
All right.
Thanks for the lesson. As he turn his gaze to 10-point, nod.
Yep, he gets a head bob.
And he will start to walk off. And people can roll peony if they want.
Oh, yes.
Look, it's my best dice pool. I ain't saying no. Oh, shit.
Oh,
2, 4.
tell me about
6,
your mother.
7, 8, 9 successes.
9 successes on 6 dice. Get the fuck out.
10s. Specialty.
I know, but get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Tell me your life story.
Yeah, you told the answer yourself. This whole talk about mother and family makes him very uncomfortable. And yeah, definitely you can see on his face that he's probably asking himself maybe similar questions. But he doesn't want to talk about it.
For some reason, my dice are not showing up, but it was 4 on that. I have 5 dice, 3 in perception, 2 in empathy.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty much the same result.
Fatima will look, and she'll say, "I don't like mushy shit, but I like running in water and working out. You should join me." She'll shrug.
He will anime wave as he doesn't turn his back.
This she understands and recognizes, and she'll just say, "Tomorrow, dawn." And she will show throat to 10-point and smile at Helena. You can come too if you want.
Sure. Yeah, you get like the brightest of smiles back. It's so bright.
And you will see Fatima kind of walk in a direction, kind of punch her fist, and it's audible. And she will kind of walk with a purpose, not looking like she just took almost all of her willpower to even get through what just happened.
Yep. 10-point will let everyone go as they're going, and if Helena is sticking around, we'll turn a glance to her. Did you want time to yourself? Or would you like me to stick around?
I don't mind. It's just everything hurts. A lot.
Like, is it clearly the sunburn, or is she just kind of
Yes.
saying it in a detached
No.
way?
Oh no. Like she is literally about as red as her hair. Like
Yeah, don't worry, 10 point is
she
too.
being the ginger that she is,
Yep. We look like lobsters.
Sun is her worst enemy.
Yep. It is a pretty good call. I will say it was probably pretty obvious to a lot of them that 10 point is, equally in pain. It's just a pretty sure thing that at this point her pain tolerance is fairly high. So she has been soldiering through, but there are definitely little telltale kind of winces and cringes when she moves just so, and like skin rubs on skin or cloth rubs on skin. Anything touches skin ever. So pretty much everything. She is not immune. In fact, she has probably let the blanket part way down just to get some cold air on the red skin. So toasty. She just nods sympathetically. Again with a faint smile because, well, yeah.
Ginger power.
Ginger power. Ginger solidarity. I dare say the best option may be taking yourself back. Doesn't Colin have a shower? Cold water might at least pull some of the heat out. It will still be burned, but...
Yeah. I'll go find out.
She nods.
And she kind of stands up like a Lego man, essentially. And begins, it's kind of like almost waddling off. A blanket kind of wrapped around her shoulders because she's still naked underneath. And she can't get any redder.
Yep. And once the last of them has departed, 10 Point will begin to take the time to very reverently pick up the various odds and ends to the summoning circle, a number of stones, several sticks of burned out incense, and what have you. But she will go about making sure that she leaves the place as close to as she found it as she can, short of some trampled grass. And I dare say that about there, we can call it a scene. So I will say thank you, players, for playing. It was magical, fucking magical to get all of you together at the same time. Thank you, watchers, for watching. Thank you, STs, for eventually reviewing. And we will see you next time on the Living World of Darkness, Rage Across New York.